Hello everybody, I'm Sagun Chhetri. I'm a grad student at Kentucky State University, and as a part of my master's research, I'm going to do my research on olive flounder very soon. So today I'll be presenting on that, and the topic of my research is the effect of stocking density on the production and health of olive flounder Paralichthys olivaceus in nursery-level RAS. As we know that in US is one of the largest seafood consumer, but the seafood production is less than what the demand is. So it has to import the seafood from Asia and South America, and in the year 2020, it has the trade deficit of $17 billion. So we can say that it is important, or it is good to expand the seafood industry in the country. Recirculating aquaculture system, RAS, it allows the nutrient recycling, minimal water exchange, in some cases like less than 5% of water exchange in the entire culture period of animal, and control environment. That means you can control the disease outbreaks and the temperature or the water quality parameters and year-round productions. At the same time, it also enhances the environmental sustainability and biosecurity. While talking about the intensive marine RAS, it conserves salt, which could be expensive, space that is limited, and the heat. So the consumers will get the fresh, never frozen seafood product even in the landlocked state like Kentucky. So they might be willing to pay higher. So it's the happy consumer, happy farmer, and eventually and gradually it will reduce the dependency on the imported seafood products. So inland marine RAS in US, indoor marine shrimp farming is well established. Our lab and Dr. Ray, they have been working with the shrimp for many years. And if you want to know more about the shrimp industry in US, you can join his presentation on Wednesday at 8:30 a.m. So it is well adopted by the farmers, and we have the large scale farmers also that use the high technology. At the same time, we do have the small scale farmers. Even in the Kentucky, we have few farmers that work with our lab, and they are using the homemade filters, even the swimming pools to grow the shrimp. But the problem especially could be in the winter when the temperature drops really low, and the optimum temperature for the shrimp is like 27 and 30. So, and that temperature the farmer might have to invest more on the heating cost, and few of the farmers, or many of the farmers, especially small scale, they are repurposing the spaces. They are using the tobacco barn to grow the shrimp, and they might not have the proper insulation. So heat cost is the one factor, the problem in the shrimp production. So we are looking for the alternative species that already been cultured, has the good growth rate, good FCR, and then that is already successfully cultured and well accepted by the consumer, and that is the olive flounder. So it is native to Northwest Pacific Ocean, one of the important commercially raised marine species, especially in like Korea, Japan, and it is well established, like from the spawning to breeding has already been done. And it is energy efficient. As right now I'm raising the small flounder, so I can see that they just come on the surface to eat, and then most of the time they just stay on the bottom. So the farmers who are doing the shrimp, they can use the same flat bottom tanks to grow the flounder, this high valued fish, and to maximize the profitability. So it is popular and liked by the consumer because of its taste and its texture. It's popular as a hirame in Asian market and as a flounder in US market. So in Korea, this species is generally raised in the flow-through system in the coastal area. But the problem with that raising in the coastal area could be the disease outbreak. And also, since in the flow-through system, they directly dumping the waste like into the ocean or sea, so that might degrade the aquatic ecology or the coastal ecology. And the University of Miami, and it is worth investing in RAS hence. And the University of Miami has been working with the flounder. If I'm not mistaken, they have been working since 2015, and they have been doing the breeding and the grow out of the flounders. And our lab has partnered with the University of Miami, and they have been providing us with the fish and also the suggestions and advice, since they have been dealing with this fish for many years. And our goal is to determine the suitability of olive flounder for inland production in the US, and also to investigate the issues or the problem that we encounter while raising the species. So for that, we have built the RAS system. That's my newly built system. I know it's not the complete picture, but I'll have 9 tanks over here. And I'll have that is the drum filter, and I also have the foam fractionator over here where we'll be injecting the ozone as we'll be doing the clear water RAS system. And we'll be raising the fish in around 20 to 23 degrees centigrade. So we also have the heater and chiller outside of this building. And that's the UV light, and since we are raising in slightly cooler temperature, we have the bigger biofilter to process the ammonia produced. And we'll be raising them in high stocking density and high protein, around 55% protein. So to process that nitrate, we also have that's the denite chamber we have. So as we know that RAS like a high cost, and that means we need to maximize the productivity and income. So one of the ways it could be to increase the stocking density, but if we keep on increasing the stocking density, then that might lead to the stress, as this species is, especially while eating, is competitive, and they also have the cannibalism. Cannibalistic nature. So if that stress continue for the longer period of time, then that might have the negative impact on the health. They might affect the immune system of the fish, poor growth and poor production, which is not good. So finding an optimum stocking density where we can grow the fish with and maximize the productivity at the same time their welfare and health is not compromised is important. So how can we do that? We can do that by tracking the stress indicators and overall production. Since crowding stress tends to have generally the negative impact on the physiological status, so we are tracking the stress. We are doing that by analyzing or tracking the hematological parameters like the blood glucose, cortisol, growth hormone, and insulin like growth factor, IGF-1, as they are the stress indicators. And in the long run, identifying the impact of the increased stocking density will also help the farmers to better manage the farms. So as if now we already have received the fish from the University of Miami. We got them in different shipments, and we have stocked them in, we have stocked them in that's the raceway 2 we call it, and the raceway 3 that's the raceway through, and the average initial stocking weight was 0.9 and 1.4 gram. And the fish are still in this raceway because for my research, I will be needing around 25 to 30 gram of the fish. So for my research, I'll be starting with the initial stocking density of 1.2, 2.4 and 3.6 kg per meter cube. And I will be culturing them in 9 fiberglass tanks, having the bottom area of 1.4 meters square. And I'll be rearing them for around 90 days. And during the culture period, I'll be feeding them with the slow sinking pellet containing 55% of protein at 1.6 to 3.5% of the body weight. Okay, I'll be using ELISA to analyze the blood samples or the cortisol, growth hormone, and insulin like growth factor. And for the glucose, I'll be using the wet scan. And I'll be analyzing or monitoring the water qualities like temperature, DO, pH, salinity twice daily, whereas ammonia, nitrite, nitrate, phosphate, and alkalinity on a weekly basis. And for the stat, I'll be using ANOVA and the Tukey's post-hoc test. So even if we have, I have not started my research, we have the fish in the raceways. So we have our few data, like as you can see, that's the initial stocking weight in both of the raceway. And now, I think on February 6th, we did our third sampling, and now they are at 30.6 and 31.9 gram. And these are the estimated biomass. We have not weighed the entire tank, but that's the estimated biomass. And I also have the few authors, and I have compared the growth rate with them. The specific growth rate and the absolute growth rate seem to be kind of comparable, but in my case, the FCR is low and our FE is high. So I was expecting at the start of the research the FCR will be low, but it's lower than what I've expected. I think a part of it could be because they are the energy efficient, they eat and they just stay on the bottom, but I think the part of could be also the biomass estimation, because we have not weighed the entire fish. So it might be because we might have been overestimating that. So we also have the expected outcomes. So at the end of the research, we expect that we'll have significant differences in the average growth weight, FCR, and the harvest weight between the fish in the different stocking densities. We also expect to have significantly different level of stress hormone, and also we expect to find the optimum stocking density that will result in the higher productivity, yet not affect or compromise the health of the fish. For the future research, we have the future research plans. We can compare the different salinities and salt type in the Flounder RAS. We can use the KSU least cost salt versus the crystal marine mix. We can test the market of the fish. I mean, what form of the fish are consumer willing to eat? I mean, the whole fish or the fillet. And we can also find the potential production cost. And at the same time, we can also demonstrate the use of the commercial scale olive flounder productivity system in the research and on-farm setting. And at the same time, we can also disseminate the informations or the result that we got from our research to the stakeholders. And we can also enhance the sustainability by using the seaweed in aquaponics to deal with the nitrogen and anaerobic digester for methane recovery, and we can use the biogas as the energy source. Yeah, thank you.
So we do have time for some questions, if there's anybody in the audience that has any questions.
Hi, sir.
Are your tanks self-cleaning, or what do you do to clean the cells?
Tanks, like 9 tanks, like my actual research tanks?
So do you mind?
The raceways, are they self-cleaning, or if not?
No, like time and again, we do have turbidity issues, so we exchange the water right now.
So do you mind repeating the question? Do you mind repeating the question for them?
Huh?
Do you mind repeating the question so that people that didn't
Oh, do you mind repeating the question, sir?
No, you.
Oh, sorry.
So you repeat the question so that people in the back can hear what the question is.
Okay, so he said, do you have the cleaning system in the raceways, right?
Self-cleaning.
No, we don't have. Actually, we thought that we'll get 30 grams of the fish and directly stock on my system. So we just focus on building my 9-tank system. But then we got 1.4 or 0.9 gram fish. So we stock them in the raceways. They are kind of a hybrid system, do have the foam fractionator and the biofilter. But time and again, for the clean, tends to have the high turbidity. So we do the water exchange right now.
All right. Well, thank you very much.